In the early hours of June 5, 1944, Allied commanders gathered in a dimly lit war room, meticulously planning the D-Day invasion. Sainte-Mère-Église, a small but strategically vital town in Normandy, was identified as a key objective. The 82nd and 101st Airborne Divisions were tasked with securing the town to prevent German reinforcements. Maps were scrutinized, and paratroopers were briefed on their mission. The success of the entire invasion hinged on this critical operation. Under the cover of darkness, C-47 transport planes carried thousands of paratroopers from the 82nd and 101st Airborne Divisions over Normandy. As they approached their drop zones, German anti-aircraft fire lit up the night sky. Parachutes billowed open, and soldiers descended into unfamiliar territory. The mission was fraught with danger as many paratroopers landed far from their intended targets, scattered across the countryside. The landing was chaotic and disorienting. Many paratroopers found themselves tangled in trees or separated from their units. German patrols were already on the move, and sporadic gunfire echoed through the night. Some soldiers landed in flooded fields, weighed down by their equipment. The element of surprise was compromised, and the Allied forces faced immediate resistance as they struggled to regroup. As the Allied paratroopers landed, German forces quickly mobilized to counter the invasion. Troops were dispatched to secure key positions, and armored units began moving towards Sainte-Mère-Église. Communication lines were abuzz with orders, as the Germans sought to repel the unexpected attack. The stage was set for a fierce battle, with both sides determined to control the strategic town. The battle for Sainte-Mère-Église was intense and brutal. Allied paratroopers engaged in close-quarters combat with German defenders, fighting house by house. The town's streets were filled with the sounds of gunfire and explosions. Civilians hid in basements, caught in the crossfire. Despite heavy resistance, the Allies managed to gain a foothold, pushing the Germans back and inching closer to victory. After hours of fierce fighting, the Allies successfully captured Sainte-Mère-Église. The American flag was raised atop the town's church tower, signaling a hard-fought victory. Soldiers cheered, though the cost had been high. The town lay in ruins, with smoke rising from the wreckage. This symbolic moment marked a crucial step forward in the D-Day invasion, boosting Allied morale. The German forces, determined to retake Sainte-Mère-Église, launched a fierce counterattack. Armored units and infantry advanced on the town, supported by artillery fire. The Allies, now entrenched, braced for the assault. The battle intensified, with both sides suffering heavy casualties. The fate of the town hung in the balance as the Germans pressed their advantage. Despite the overwhelming German counterattack, the Allied forces held their ground. Barricades were erected, and soldiers fought valiantly to repel the enemy. Wounded soldiers were tended to, and ammunition was rationed. The battle raged on, with neither side willing to yield. The Allies' determination to maintain their position proved crucial in the face of relentless German pressure. Just as the situation seemed dire, Allied reinforcements arrived. Fresh troops and supplies poured into Sainte-Mère-Église, bolstering the weary defenders. The tide of the battle turned, and the Germans were forced to retreat. The town was finally secured, and the Allies prepared for the next phase of the D-Day invasion. The arrival of reinforcements marked a decisive moment in the battle. With the battle over, the Allies began to assess the situation. The town of Sainte-Mère-Église was in ruins, and casualties were high. Medics worked tirelessly to treat the wounded, and soldiers took a moment to rest. Plans were already being made for the next phase of the invasion. The hard-fought victory at Sainte-Mère-Église had paved the way for the liberation of Normandy, but the cost had been immense.